Hey guys, how's it going? I have with me Exalted Speed and wait, who is this?
I don't know. Who am I?
Bianca? Like, wow, you're actually showing your face for once. Wow,
This
this
is
is a
my
big.
human form.
Yep, wow. Your human form instead of your werewolf form. Ow! So yeah, today was going to be just a general shoot the shit stuff. I mean, as you can see, thanks to my new camera, I can really show off my comic book room. But after recent events, it's clear we're going to have to talk, at least for a little bit, about the stuff, the craziness going on with Warner Brothers Discovery.
Hi,
On
Sultan.
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah. So
I
yeah.
I've been trying not to really worry about it too much because these corporate shit. I'm I look at the sidelines and talk to people mostly in private about it
Mm-hmm.
myself, just because I'm like, yeah, I'd rather focus on other things.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'll give my take on it, I guess, if
All
I
right.
have to. I'm
So,
on the
what
platform.
do you, yeah, what do you think about? Oh, we'll start with you then. Let's just rip the band-aid right off. Where do you stand on what's been and what's going on? I mean, it's unprecedented, and as people have pointed out.
I
Yeah.
it's it's technically not that unprecedented. I think this is okay. If there's one thing that's unprecedented, it's probably how much
Multiple movies.
because there have been movies that have been shelved for
Mm-hmm.
decades and more. This is not
Mm-hmm.
the most like
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah.
history wise, yes.
Mm-hmm.
How it's happening and how it's being. I think this is like the first time we've seen it happen with a major Hollywood superhero film.
Oh yeah,
So that's
and an animated movie too.
yeah. Honestly, we're kind of going into a weird moment because the Popeye animatic got released like a little while ago, so everyone can
Mm-hmm.
see how stupid Sony is.
Oh
And
yeah, big time. What people say, maybe not dodged a bullet, but like this could have used a little bit more work.
well, it's an animatic.
Yeah.
I I
I wish I
don't
could
know
have
what
seen it.
Oh
I
yeah.
I mean, like, of course, it's going to go through production differences, but literally, it's called drafting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
You're right. No, you were right. You were very right. And wow, looks like everyone's jumping onto your channel, Bianca. No one's coming
Make sure
over
you
to
guys
mine.
like on Robert's channel too.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Everyone's because I'm seeing everyone being paired over from there.
oh,
But
I would
hey,
have just preferred it to be on freaking HBO Max.
oh, I do
I think
too.
that probably would have been the best place for it.
It was meant for it. It was being made intentionally for that.
Yeah, but even then, like, right now, Warner really, from what I've heard from reports and rumors, the movie was just gonna go into like was going into weird places, and it was coming from weird, like, okay, Batman and Superman aren't at their best, and we're
Yeah,
gonna play off that, and I'm like, why? Like, to me,
true.
it never made. Okay, I don't know why. Oh, what's it like to be an X Men fan right now? I see.
Mm,
Pain. Pain, because I really hate talking about the X Men sometimes because honestly, a lot of fans take it way too seriously in both directions. For one
mm-hmm.
thing, if I talk about the mutant metaphor for like 5 seconds,
Oh boy.
people just go like, and I'm like, guys, what I'm trying to say is we should not make the mutant metaphor for just one thing. We should bring
Exactly.
um, but a lot of people will take it, blah blah blah. This doesn't make sense, and I'm like, look, the X Men's metaphor is about feeling isolated about yourself and
Hmm.
having issues within. It's an internal struggle. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's about being scared of other people, about being scared of yourself. And if X Men focused on that again, I think people would actually really get back into it. Or at the very least, if they stop, honestly, if I took over the X Men, I'd be like, okay, what unfinished plot lines do we have? We're just gonna finish them all and just go from there.
Hey, that sounds like a smart idea. I mean, that was
Huh?
one thing. That's one thing I would give Morrison. He tried to close the door on a bunch of plot threads. He just did them pretty badly.
There's a lot of debate on that one too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, though. I mean, like he tried to close the door on the Weapon X stuff.
Yeah. I'll say that was a good idea on his part because I'll say the Weapon X stuff really got convoluted, at least
Yeah.
later on in the
Oh, I
series.
loved how it was basically like, why does everyone think it's X for you? Can't you tell it's a numeral 10 and that it's Captain America was Weapon 1?
If I became a Marvel editor, the first thing I would do I would make a YouTube video and just get every copy of One More Day and burn it
Ah,
and upload that to Marvel YouTube and just say, "Hey guys, new era."
right. I mean, the fact that Spencer teased us so much with his stuff, and do you think that was ever going to happen? But then he left.
I think something was gonna happen
But then he
because here's
left.
the thing. I honestly feel like a lot of bad decisions were made because of just overconfidence
Mm-hmm.
and uh and also underestimating how things were missed.
Yeah.
Because Marvel really wants to be right about Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
The-
the editor himself has proven that, given what he's been going on since Beyond and now current stuff, where they think Spider-Man's one way when it's like fans are hating this.
Basically the way I kind of am like looking at it as just a fan,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Nick Lowe, and I gotta say, Nick Lowe is making some mistakes I'm shocked an editor would make.
Yeah.
For
Like,
one thing,
yeah.
the biggest one, honestly, was after Spider-Man Beyond. He made like a note about how the reason he turned Ben Riley evil was because Miles exists.
Uh,
Now, I'm not the biggest Miles fan ever. I think he's okay. I
oh,
don't mind him. But as an editor, I would never try to basically make the fandom hate each other because that's what you do with shit like that. You're
yeah.
going to have fans of Ben Riley now hate Miles because he exists. And it's like, okay, no, you don't do that shit. You don't want your fans, you don't want to try and cause conflict in the fans. You really don't. Like maybe X-Men and Avengers fans,
Mhm.
but
I say this. I think Lowe took a lot of pointers from Slot. Then he had to keep his mouth shut because Spencer was calling the shots for the most part. And then once Spencer left, it's like, okay, let's bring back more what Slot taught
I
me.
I think the problem is that Lowe is a good editor when he basically is just hands off as fuck.
But he's hands on throughout all of this.
Yeah, because here's the thing. He put out the JMD Mateus Ben Riley Spider-Man series.
Mm-hmm.
And just talking truth here about it,
Mm-hmm.
it was like the best Spider-Man series of the year.
Yep.
Genuinely had great moments, good writing. It made me care about Spider Side, which I didn't think would happen in the year of
Oh,
our
yeah.
Lord 2022,
Mm-hmm.
but I cared about Spider Side.
Right.
Anyway,
But but anyway, back to DC for a moment. We'll get back to Marvel. We'll get back to Marvel.
okay.
Finally.
But I gotta say, the one thing I'm most worried about is the rumors, the talks going on that the guy who's currently doing it, because of all the stuff of Discovery, he really wants to put an emphasis on the unscripted shows. And that's part of what was been talked about in Variety, even saying there's going to be a distinctive line through it. And they're already cutting off 70% of the scripted shows, the original stuff from HBO Max. That's not a good sign.
Uh, hmm.
I mean, 70% of the staff. And then
So,
saying no more originals.
so my take on it is basically, oh, he's going to overflood the market, and then he's going to have to cut off some more of those reality shows and just create a cycle of it.
I mean, I get it. The guys from Discovery, and Discovery's made a big thing with all their different reality shows. But the thing is with them, What more can you add? What more
Well,
can you add that they don't already have?
I guess I gotta talk about this since I have like a bit of a. I will admit I do have a bit of skin in this game, but
Oh,
I used to work under AT&T.
oh,
So, yes, I worked. Look, I'm not really going to specify what I
no, no,
did,
no, no. Understandable, understandable.
uh, but let me actually explain kind of like what happened here, just because I'm sure people are kind of like wondering what the frick did happen. So, and and it's gonna come back to the Discovery Guy, but I'm gonna have to explain a concept my dad taught me.
All right.
My dad always called it like this: car salesman who wants to make movies.
Ah, I get it.
Um,
I get it.
yeah. So, and to kind of explain this whole thing, so this all started with AT&T basically being like, guys, we will, I, how do we grow? We're not growing. And
Hmm.
they did a couple of things. One, they tried to do a security system. You might look. You're gonna look. You would have to look it up. I forget the freaking name of it.
Hmm.
They wanted to do this big security system thing, and it was going to help them grow. Basically, they were going to sell it with cell phones, stuff like that. Blah blah blah.
Right, right. I remember that.
Yeah. Then, like, somebody developed a freeware version of it,
Hmm.
and basically just destroyed what they were planning.
Right.
Nobody was going to buy it. Blah blah blah. So AT&T was like, "What if we became Disney?"
Mm. Yeah. Which you could definitely tell that's what they were trying
Now,
to do.
this was sometime around, let's say, 2010-ish, like, around like when Iron Man was going on,
Right.
like when the MCU was really getting off the ground.
Hmm.
All right. So they had this. So this was their idea. We're going to become an entertainment company instead of a cellular company,
Right.
and we're going to try and control every aspect. So what do, guys? We're gonna buy a dish network. We're gonna buy
Aye.
DirecTV. Now, little did they know what was happening in the background of all this.
Hmm.
Streaming was about to become a thing.
Yep.
And so I think they bought like DirecTV for something like a billion, like a couple $1 billion. I think it was about 40,
Hmm.
something maybe more, or I'm really underestimating it. Either way, they incurred a lot of debt, and the idea was
Hmm.
like, "Yo, we're gonna get DirecTV, then we're gonna buy HBO, and then not only will
Hmm.
we control the distribution, we will control the content."
Ah, I'm starting to see where a lot of the issues are coming from.
Yes. So the idea basically was this: you would basically be able to make your entire life AT&T, HBO, all that, like
Hmm.
one big umbrella service
Right. Makes
was
sense
the
in
idea.
theory. Makes sense in theory.
One big entertainment with all the biggest brands and stuff.
Hmm.
I hope like this all makes sense.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. Raymond just said greed.
yeah, basically greed and everything else. And yeah, no, it didn't work for a couple reasons. One, I had to sell DirecTV.
Hmm.
Uh and I gotta say, yeah, I couldn't even in my
Uh,
area, I couldn't even get
Lunax, sir, we'll get to that. Can we focus a little bit on one
well,
thing at a time?
I'll finish up my story here.
Yeah, yeah. Go right
But
ahead. Go right ahead.
anyway, so what happened was AT&T incurred a lot of debt to
Well, yeah,
try
we know
and
that.
become this big freaking entertainment company.
Hmm.
And to give you an idea, they also had very different streaming services. DirecTV streaming, all before HBO Max. Look it up, and it's
Oh yeah.
insane how much money they wasted.
Oh,
It was
big
not just
time.
one thing. So this became just their thing, and they incurred so much debt. And with the Discovery buyout and everything about it, we have another car salesman trying to make movies.
So I just wanted to show that for Bianca.
That
I'm
anyway.
purposely not looking at it.
So I hope that makes sense. That's been my TED talk about what's been going on.
Okay.
I hope everyone understood that.
Right. Now, well, let's let Bianca have a chance to talk. Where do you stand on what's all going on?
I'm so sad. I'm so sad it's gone. Like seeing her cute posts and everything,
Oh,
and
Batgirl, yeah.
yeah, and she's like going to kids dressed as Batman and Batgirl, and she's talking
Oh,
to them.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
A
she
kid
really wanted to make this a role she could own.
like that kid with cancer visited the set.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the opportunity to do that before he passed away.
oh my
Yep.
god.
And she sang a little tribute to him and everything, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
She
you're
really,
that
again,
girl.
she wanted to embrace this role. She really wanted to embrace it and make it be like, no, I am Batgirl, and I want to actually, which not many actors are do and did that stuff, and now,
It really sucks for her. And I'll say this: even if I didn't like the movie, I always feel bad about people who lose work.
oh yeah,
Honestly, I
and, hmm
let me put it this way: uh, I I I prefer to be able to see bad work, even if it's like. I'll say this: I don't mind it honestly.
yeah.
Like there's always going to be bad and good adaptations of shit, and I just want,
See a
you
track,
know, yeah, and I
but
just want,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Like the hard
And
work somebody puts in, and
yeah,
you want to see that. Like this,
yeah,
when I heard them from the fandom, they didn't say, "Oh, black, black role, Afro Latina." They said she was amazing. We saw her acting, and we like, we need you to be
and
Batgirl.
they
We
made
just need you
sure
to be
they made
Batgirl.
sure she was still a redhead for one thing.
Yes.
They
Yeah, and
went
yeah.
they're
that
like,
far.
of course she's gonna be a redhead. She's Batgirl.
They could have
They
just
can't
simply
have
said
not
like,
red
"Oh, we
hair.
don't need her to be a redhead." Like, no, they knew Batgirl's one of those characters who is defined by her red hair. You cannot get rid of that red hair.
And I was
No,
talking to somebody about it. They're like, "Well, how can they keep replacing black people with
The
wait, how can
ginger
you
side, the
replace
ginger side.
redheads with black haired with oh my gosh, gingers with black people?" And I'm like, "Well, if you did research, they're going to give her red hair." They're like, "Yeah, but she's still African American." And I'm like, "Well,
So,
first of all, she's Afro Latina and she's biracial."
like
mhm.
So,
I
half white.
really, I really am one of those guys who, like, I'll like. Here's the thing: I only really have issues with race bending when it's trying to reapply to the comics.
Yeah,
Yes.
If
oh
it's
yeah. When
like
they go
they,
like they at least went around the right way when it came to Nick Fury Jr. At least they made it clear, different guy. Nick Fury Sr. still out there.
I
that's
feel
really
like they
my
did it with
only.
another person.
There's other examples you can
But that's the one.
find, but
That's the most recent example I can think of
Actually, no,
where they.
never mind. It was the opposite. After after the Birds of Prey movie came out, where they had the
mhm.
Jussie Smollett's sister having the
Mhm.
role, they still kept her white in the comics,
Oh
even
yeah,
with the direct
Yeah,
comic coming out. And she was
I
also biracial. She was half white.
I'll say this, like, I really it's only when they really try to, and if it's a new version completely, I'm also okay with it.
yeah.
I just don't like bending over backwards trying to make it,
Mhm.
like the other thing. That's my only ever
I
problem.
agree. I
Hmm.
agree. If you're doing it in the movie and it's just staged to the movie, that's fine. If you ask
Yeah.
me.
And the
Yeah,
fact that they were like, it's almost like a copy of Batgirl Year One. And I saw people saying, "I already bought the comic so I can get ready for the movie," and
No,
I'm
it's
like,
that's not
"Oh,
what
I'm
they meant.
sorry."
That's
uh,
not.
I'll
Oh,
say Batgirl Year One. If you want the best Barbara story ever, yeah, that's the
mhm.
best
Burnside.
one
I'm
right
just kidding.
there.
Yep.
Uh, God, I
But,
want
but I would
to.
say, but I would say this. I've saw some people actually lambasting Brendan Fraser, saying, "Oh, you were still too fat to do acting." It's like, oh, shut up.
No,
Oh my
look,
gosh.
your body doesn't matter as long as you're a fine actor. Look, if
Yeah.
Marlon Brando could
Hmm.
do Apocalypse Now like he was, research how he was in that film.
Yeah.
Do you know how what's the guy who played Joker from the movie Joker?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, do you know how many times he's lost weight and gained
Oh
weight
yeah.
for a role?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look how he was in Joker alone. He was like, yay!
Dude starved himself or whatever. Oh my
And
gosh.
just for that one shot, just for that one shot.
And just because I don't want to forget this, just Luxor's question. Uh,
Oh yeah, the crisis. I was gonna bring about Dark Crisis. I say it fits Joshua Williamson. It fits the type of fan he is, and dealing
I'll
with Pariah makes sense because it's the most logical follow up to Infinite Crisis, dealing
I
with the survivors.
I am a fucking tsundere for Dark Crisis, and I will admit that right now.
You don't like it?
Here's the thing: I want to not like it, but
Oh, you want to not like it, but you are enjoying it.
here's the thing: there's enough there that works that I'm like, I might actually buy the trade of this as
I
just
think it's because it's
I'm
Williamson.
buying the trade.
I think it's because it's Williamson. I think that's why.
Honestly, the thing about the biggest problem I've had with the event is the Young Justice book.
Yes, everyone agrees with that. It's because it's Fitzmartin once again shoving. Okay, when Fitzmartin did the first two bits of the story, she played it a little safe, a little safe. But since then, now she's been going off the rails, being pot shots at everything, and now being mean spirited towards her critics. It
Uh,
just feels like, why are you letting her do this?
Honestly, that's the biggest problem of the event. Because here's the thing.
At least it's a tie-in. It doesn't have
I
anything to do with the main
wish,
story.
yeah, but I'm a Young Justice fan,
Oh yeah,
and this was my attempt to get that team back, and now I'm like, oh, my team is in the shit book now. Oh no.
yep.
Oh
And then we're
no.
going to do what they did to Arrowette with the sissy, and it's like, really?
Yeah, look, I'm a Connor boy. I'm a huge
They're going
fan
to
of
make him buy. They're going to make him buy by the end of this. I am positive. They're going to say he and Bart and Cassie are all buy.
fine, whatever. They can all marry each other and, have babies somewhere. I'm cool with that. Whatever.
More
I
than that,
get
Team
them.
Solo. It comes out since she's writing. Unfortunately, we're going to have to. I have a feeling that scene's going to tank. I
Uh,
think they've let her do this too far that it's going to taint any goodwill they have for that book.
Animal Man, I'm not really sure what he's doing now. Animal Man kind of tends to disappear between
Remember? Okay.
appearances.
Well, yeah, but you get what I'm
Sorry.
saying. I think that Tim Solo book, I think it's going to bomb. I think this Young Crisis thing is supposed to hype up for it. It's blowing up in their face.
Who's
Uh,
writing Tim's book?
the person writing
Fitzmartin again.
Fitzmartin?
Yeah,
yeah,
the
the
one,
person writing
the one doing Dark Crisis, Young Justice. She's the one who made Tim buy.
yeah,
Oh, I don't know
and
how I feel about that. Who was the artist?
Riley Rosmo.
I think the art's been pretty solid,
Dang, I would have
honestly.
liked the art.
But
It's just the word vomit coming out of it.
yeah, and again, the solicitations keep on focusing entirely on Bernard, Bernard, Bernard. It's like, shut up! You're making it very clear this is all going to be about you're basically okay. Cena Grace at least admitted he didn't want to be pigeonholed as gay Bobby, but that's what he was told to do. I have a feeling that Fitzmartin, this was her pitch. I don't think this is a case where she's being forced to do it. I
Uh,
think this is her choice.
okay, I'm gonna just explain how I fucking know it's her choice.
Well,
Bernard.
everything.
Fucking
What?
Bernard.
Yeah, she made him buy when he wasn't buying. He was older. She de-aged him. She did everything.
Look, no. You have to understand this. It has nothing to do with his age. It has nothing to do with anything. It has the fact that you would only know about or care about Bernard
Because of Bill Willingham.
if you were in a chunk of Batman fandom writing fan fiction in that period. Because look, I'm just going to tell you, the only reason people would care about Bernard as a character is if they were fan fiction writers. Because he was basically the go-to, okay, I want to make Tim gay, but I don't want to pair him up with a Superboy or a Batman character.
So Bernard was the go-to, and also do it to stick it to Bill Willingham because he's conservative. This will make you pissed off.
I don't even think it came up with that. I honestly think
Well,
that it
I know
might,
some people. I'm just saying. I know some
Wait,
people.
who's Bill Willingham?
The
the
writer,
creator.
Fables, the
Uh,
Fables
Like,
they
writer.
they made fun of him. You said?
No, no, no. Bill Willingham created Bernard because he had a run on
Uh,
Robin, and there are some people who say they did it to tick off Bill Willingham.
no, it's totally the fan fiction thing.
Yeah, you're right.
I
Yeah,
feel
okay.
which wouldn't make sense with Bernard in any way. It makes more sense with Connor, but okay.
Yeah,
uh,
but Connor's too obvious.
I think
Connor.
that's the reason why that should be done. I'm pretty sure there's much more fan fictions with Connor than with Bernard.
Look, yeah, look, the thing is that there was a time period where Bernard was kind of like this thing, but no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you overall. Look, I'm a huge fan of Connor's 90s book. I love that
Mhm.
book. I love actually, I'm a big fan of all the Young Justice. Impulse, Robin, Superboy. Give me a weekend
Oh, I
where I'm
love
just reading
Impulse.
their books and I'll just be happy.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no, like, it's all just, yeah, because here's the problem. I wish Fitzpatrick, because here's the problem.
Fitzmartin.
Fitzmartin, whatever her name is, I don't care.
Megan.
Megan. Okay. The problem is
Megan!
that Megan. Anyway, is that if she was actually, here's the thing, if she actually showed respect to the past to an extent while mixing it up, showing variety of like what was good, what was bad, then I think she would be very well received.
Oh
But the
yeah.
problem is that she's trying to say, "Oh, the past sucked," and it's like you aren't even close to the caliber of the best Young Justice issue, or even the worst Young Justice issue.
My
In
friend,
fact, you are now officially the worst Young Justice issue. Congratulations!
I would say this. Oh yeah, she outdid Graduation Day. Wow.
Yeah, Graduation Day. I'll say this: I can read it, and Donna Troy died technically in it, but she didn't
Doesn't
And
she
die.
always?
And Lilith.
Yeah, but who cares about Lilith?
Some people
Okay,
do.
I'm joking.
I know, but
Lilith is fine.
I would say so. My friend Ian Miller, who Bianca, you know who he is. You've been on the show with him. Ian.
Yes.
Yeah, he's actually said that Megan may actually know about it, but she's read it when she was drunk. Because if you could look back at her old, social media stuff, she would do a lot of stuff where she would read comics while drunk.
Okay, I didn't real. I considered that as a bit one time, but I didn't because it would make my post unintelligible. And I already have a problem spelling.
But yeah, though. But with Dark Crisis overall, I think it is being well done, very well written. The tie-ins have been anywhere from decent to, I mean, not counting Young Justice, decent to really good.
I've been enjoying the Flash tie-in, so
Oh
I
yeah,
can say that at least.
yep. The Superman one was an interesting experiment.
Yeah, I'll say that. I'll say that it's not the most infuriating of Tom King's works.
Yeah,
Good for
there's
him.
one issue.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll say this. It's just been like, it's been it's been one of the better handled events. Look, I just have an automatic hatred of events because I feel like they need to be done differently. That's just my opinion.
Right.
So I want to not like it, but it's been enjoyable for the most part. I just hate the fact that my favorite team is the one that's the worst book.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Why do they have to give it to Fitzmartin? Who can say? But I don't know why they keep giving them work.
I don't know. Peter David needs money for shit. Give it to him.
Well, he's got plenty of writing at Marvel, thankfully. I mean, the Maestro books, Bianca and I did a video on that recently.
Hey, I've been enjoying his new Fantastic Four books.
Oh, I've been loving that. I just read the new issue.
Yeah, I did today too.
Speaking of Maestro, I wanted to tell you, Robert.
Yeah.
So I was redoing my entire bookshelf because I was organizing all the comics, and I found my Maestro. I
Ah,
got War and
nice.
Pax.
Oh, so
I
you
didn't even have
want
the first one.
you got the second one, not the first one,
Ah,
because you need the first one, symmetry and gamma key.
yeah.
Oh
Dang it.
man.
Yep, and then you got to wait for World War M, of course. And I just got through getting it on Amazon for dirt cheap. The Secret Wars Future Imperfect miniseries,
Uh,
surprising good, and some of Greg Land's better artworks. I don't think he traced that much in that one.
Honestly, Greg Land has gotten better in this current year, and I feel like if I say that, I'm going to lose cred with all of comic Twitter. But
You can't
whatever.
deny it.
Hey.
That book was good art wise.
Hey, yeah, no, it's fair. I try to be fair to artists and writers when I can be.
Hmm. But
It's just, but
oh,
yeah,
the symbiote Spider-Man book's been really good. I hope by the end of Dark Rider they'll start and who will continue as Robin. They're both going to be Robin. They've since decided
I
that.
I have a proposal.
What's
Jason
that?
Todd returns as Robin. No.
Yeah, no.
What?
Okay. Here is my proposal then to fix everything or cause more arguments. I elect Azrael as Robin.
No, Map is Robin.
Look, okay, we'll just have a general election. Map and Azrael. We'll see who wins this one.
Azrael was never Robin, though.
No. I'm gonna elect him as Robin. Look, he's old enough.
Let Azrael remain Azrael.
No, clearly he needs to move up into this world.
Well, he's already back already.
I elect Azrael.
Uh,
With the two of them.
okay, but speaking of which, I say the Batman White Knight presents Red Hood. Wow, how about a pretty
Uh,
thick
I,
Robin we've got there?
I'll say this. I'll say this. Like, my personal pick for Robin has always been Tim. So, and I
Hmm.
like Damien too. But uh, like it's one of those things. That just like, oh god, I wish the new 52 didn't happen, or at the very least, like,
Well, okay.
God.
I mean, what would you rather be, Red Robin or Drake?
Neither.
No.
Will
You can only pick one or the other.
I'm gonna pick Red Robin because Drake is so stupid.
It is. It's like it's a type of bird, but it's also his last name. You idiot.
It's a nice idea. Okay, I think Brian probably was like, I came up with a fucking clever solution, and you know, and
I think he
that's
did to
all
tell
it was.
jokes. I think he did to tell jokes.
Maybe whatever. Either way,
Hmm.
uh, it is the thing. Um, yeah, like I like aspects about I like aspects about like I'll say I like aspects about his Young Justice run. I'll say that on stream.
Hmm.
It's not my favorite thing ever, but he's also now not the worst Young Justice writer.
Right. Definitely not. I mean, I will get this. I did actually smile when I saw what's her name with a well mighty endowed having the smoke around her. I'm like, okay, cute touch, but then the second issue, you're just like, okay, anything went right out the window. Batman thing is just a
they
fade.
they almost had me, and I understand they were like trying to go like, oh, DC Comics was so homophobic in the '90s, but I need to point out this. John Byrne like introduced a lesbian cop in Superman in like the late '80s, or
Yep.
somebody did. Maggie
No.
Sawyer.
Yeah, Maggie Sawyer. That was either Byrne or Ordway.
It
No,
was
no,
either
Wolfman.
it was one of the main Superman writers at the time. I
Hmm.
think I I honestly think it could have either been one of them. I think it was Ordway, but I could be wrong on that
No.
one.
Ordway wasn't writing yet. Ordway started writing after Wolfman left. So, yep,
All right,
welcome back.
cool.
So it had to be either Byrne or Wolfman that did. I'm pretty sure it was Byrne.
Okay. Either way, point being, it's like DC introduced some of the first gay characters in the '90s. So calling DC homophobic during the '90s,
I
Mm-hmm.
think it's because a lot of stuff were happening in the 90s, and so everybody gets stuff confused. Like,
well,
Oh
oh, they were
yeah.
understandably,
sexist in the 90s, they were misogynistic in the 90s, they were this
Oh
and
yeah.
that and that.
I mean, look at what happened. And Marvel had North Star. Okay, they can claim that. DC had Pied Piper. What was that guy's name in New
Which
Guardian?
some people were very surprised
Oh yeah.
when somebody gave them as examples, like, how come they're not using these people? And everybody's like, wait, since when? And I'm like, I thought you guys knew everything.
yeah, like there's a lot of history here, and a lot of people underestimate it too. It's like one of those things. It's less like
Oh yeah, like you tell
I
people like, oh, Constantine's bi. They think back
well,
to that joke from Dark Side War or Apocalypse War. They're like, oh, that's recently. No, 90s.
that was established way back in the day, and while it
And
wasn't
people would
really,
tell me that it never happened, even with Vertical, it never happened.
And
it's
then you
one of
show them
those
the
things.
page.
It's one of those things that really ticks me off when sometimes talking about the history, because it's like, look, yes, stuff was bad back in the day, but if you don't acknowledge the actual progress we made during certain periods of time, well, then
Hmm.
what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
if like either like we actually do have to acknowledge people tried, or
Mm-hmm.
else what did they fight for? Hell, like I'm sure it was like honestly, it's easier now to get away with that shit than it was back then, and that's just the truth of it.
Mm-hmm.
And those writers who had to fight for it, like, come on, give them props for that at the very least.
Well, yeah, and then you have other cases like the idea of Felicia, Black Cat being bisexual. Kevin Smith did that, but I was also in MC2. He
That was
made
actually
Mayday.
that was actually. I don't think Kevin Smith did that.
No. He implied it, saying, "I've never had Valentine's Day, I've had a boyfriend or girlfriend for that matter."
Okay, I might have forgotten that, but I knew. But it was established in MC2 first.
Yeah, in MC2 first, and it was like after she broke up and divorced Flash, she went with a woman then.
Yeah, that was fine. I actually
And it
thought that
makes
was
sense. And it makes sense. It's like no one else is going to top Peter and Flash with the closest, but they fell apart. So really, she's not going to know other man's going to be good enough for her.
I don't know if that was the implied thing, but I thought they handled it well,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
So,
they handled it very well. But then people are saying, like, "Oh, whoa!" It's like, no, guys, it's been done more often than not.
well, like a lot of people often underestimate how some stuff goes back, and I understand like people like look, I always try to judge things by how they're done in a vacuum as best I can.
Right?
Sometimes it's
Agree.
not, sometimes it's harder, but yeah, like it's like, oh, like a lot of people think like I I've been part of fandom history. Yeah, Mystique was always implied to be bi, but that's because Chris Claremont literally implies every female is bi.
Yeah, but come on, when you're a shapeshifter, it makes the most sense.
I I
That's what I
joke
would say.
about it. So I guess I got to talk about the Nightcrawler father thing if we're going to bring
Oh
that.
Lord, what was Chuck Austin thinking?
No, I actually mean the original plan for
Oh, I
Nightcrawler.
know the original plan. Yeah, it was supposed to be Destiny.
So if for people who don't know, the original plan for Nightcrawler's parents was Mystique was always going to be related to him. Okay,
Right.
all
All
right,
right.
everybody knows this,
But then
No.
except she was going to be his father.
the father and Destiny was
So
the mother.
basically, what happened is Mystique became a dude, fuck Destiny, and that would have been Nightcrawler's mother and father.
Does that work that way? Well, it's
Yes.
we don't.
Look, apparently Mystique was just like, yo, I can produce mutant sperm. I don't know. I don't want to think about this too hard.
And they say
But
comics were never sexual. And
Uh, oh, oh yeah. Like, oh god, I remember this post going around Twitter was like, was like comic female breasts got 300% bigger, and since the 1940s. And
oh God, the Power Girl thing. The Power Girl thing.
well, not even just that. it's kind of dumb if you actually know your comics history
Yeah.
and know your art styles or art movements within comics, because the good girl art movement, because for one thing, comic artists exaggerate or not exaggerate depending on who they are. It
Hmm.
really does depend. And also just the truth of it, the reason, look, artists just like to draw what they like. It's the
Yeah.
easiest thing for them ever. So if you have
Oh,
it,
look at Amanda Connor. She would proudly in her own comic say, "Hey, I'll draw every different size boobs and everything." She's
yeah.
one of those who proudly admits, like, I love the cheesecake. She loves doing it, and she's one of those who would tell
Oh,
people who
I
complain at
thought you
her,
meant
like,
actual
saying, like,
cheesecake. I was like,
"Ah,
oh.
Uh,
yeah,
now,
but
like,
yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
good girl art. Anyway, good girl art has always been a thing since the 1940s, and comics have had sexual nature. Though there were periods of like the early 1950s, but that's actually God. I'm actually planning a big thread for Twitter called "The Fall of Comics in the 1950s" that I'm really excited about when I get to it.
hmm
I'm actually going to talk about what the fuck happened. Uh, and one of the things I found out is that the early censorship of the comic code was because they hired the stiffest asshole they could find.
oh,
I'm
of
not even
course,
okay.
of
So I
course they
found
did,
this
of
out.
course they did."
So I found this out while I was researching. Apparently, the comic code wasn't supposed to be as heavily enforced as it was.
Of
Oh,
course, of
of course
course.
not.
The plan was this. It was there to make people think it's enforced. And it
Oh
would only
no.
take care of the really
It's
egregious.
what it later became. It's what it later became.
Well, I'm actually
And
no.
ruined romance comics for all women and guys
Yeah.
who like romance.
So the plan was this. Basically, it was like this. It would only take care of the really egregious examples. So you
EC
could still get
basically. EC.
so you could still get away with a lot of shit if you wanted to. The
Right.
problem, they hired a guy outside of comics to do it to look good.
Oh no.
And he was like, all right,
He
I'm
was a
gonna
believer.
hire
He was a
you.
believer.
I was gonna follow the rules to the exact. So all the rules they laid out, which were very strict, but weren't all supposed to be enforced, were.
Oh no. And they probably hitting their foreheads like, oh god, what have we done?
Yeah, no, it was actually fascinating. I forget the name of the guy who did it because again, I'm still in the middle of doing research. There's another book I'm reading for it for contrast because one book is the facts, the other book is the emotional facts.
Right.
So it's like taking two different perspectives and trying to mesh them together.
Mm-hmm.
So because there's a lot of different perspectives to tackle from the artists to the publishers. It's a huge mess, and you kind of have to be like, okay, here's what this was, here's how this is wrong. So yeah, that's just the truth of it. Was just that.
See a random dude draws.
Yes.
Bye.
No, but I
Was
hear what
just,
you mean. I hear what you mean. And yeah, it was just done again, done it. Now, didn't some people say that it was done in part intentionally to shut down EC because that was one of the bigger issues?
uh
Or is that an emotional truth?
bit of both.
All right.
Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of people think that it was just shut down to EC Comics, but there was a couple reasons why EC Comics became the pariah it did.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Ed Gaines made a report to Congress. He testified for comics, and he made them all look like assholes. That
Nothing new from anyone else
that was
Washington.
one truth of it. Honestly, Frederick, here, let me explain this because there's a lot of it's. I'm going to talk about this.
Gets more of a bad rap than he deserved from what he said.
No, he deserves he deserves everything.
He does. Oh, he does. I thought there was wasn't there a point where he tried to
No.
say like, "Oh,
he deserves every fucking disrespect you can throw at him."
All right.
I'm just gonna tell you. Okay, because look, this is a big history. When I'm gonna do the thread, it's gonna start in the 1940s and a little bit earlier.
Ooh.
Just because it goes back that far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to talk about like pre Frederick Wertham stuff. but I'm
Mm-hmm.
just going to talk about this here. A couple of the reasons why EC fell off like it did was not just because of like them going after him. Though Archie Comics, the head, had a rivalry with EC Comics. And
Ah.
he was one of the heads of the Comics Code.
Mm-hmm.
And he used it to strike against EC. But what ultimately really killed EC was probably the fall of the distribution of comics in the 1950s, which is another entire different thing
Right.
here that
Right.
fucking helped. Because here's the thing: we lost at least 14 publishers
Mm-hmm.
in that,
Oh yeah.
including Quality Comics, the creators of Plastic Man,
Oh, unfortunately, yes.
and Shazam, and so we're not
Faucet, faucet, faucet. Yeah.
To give you an idea, here's another one. Also, the guys who published like reprints of strips like Little Abner, which were like the biggest comics in
Mm-hmm.
America. But there's a lot of history here, a lot of shit that people don't know because a lot of people are listening from either artists, publishers. They're getting one side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So, and and to talk about Frederick Wortham, I'm going to talk about this. And this is why I think he deserves everything that's thrown at him in uh in everything. Now, I understand on some level he probably did think he was doing the right thing
Mm-hmm.
on some
I think
level.
so.
But here's the truth. Comic publishers and creators actually tried to approach him and talk
Mm-hmm.
to him. He didn't listen or talk to a single fucking one.
Mm.
They reached out. They tried. If he wanted to actually fix things, if he wanted to actually do shit,
Mm-hmm.
well, maybe he should actually talk to them.
All
Maybe
right
they
then.
would actually have hired him or hired people like him to help.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's the thing: Frederick Wortham could have not done what he did.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of chances he could have gotten he want without the fucking attack he did.
Right.
But he did.
You're right.
And that's just the truth of it. And it's not just that. It's also how creators ended up being marginalized because of it, how they ended up so much shit. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's insane to think about, but I literally just after finding that out, I could not justify what Frederick Wortham did. And the
Fair
truth
enough.
is, here's another thing that was also happening at the same time: TV.
Oh yeah.
All here's one other fall of comics people don't often think about. TV was coming into the big picture. More things was competing with comics, and comics were kind of waning in that direction to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad thing to talk about because it's like, sucks to hear, but that's the truth of it too.
Right.
So it's a factor in it to at least talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So the truth about it is that if Frederick Wortham didn't do, but that the reason I bring up TV is not just because of it actually taking out comics. It's because a lot of the shit that kids were watching TV, and they were saying some of the same shit from comics as TV. So
Right.
why wasn't he attacking them or movies? Why? And the truth is this: comics were just the easier target.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot less money involved, a lot less, and comics weren't each seen as something for adults. So it didn't have that protection either. Most people thought it was for kids. So he was just able to attack it, get attention, and that's what he did.
And he partially wanted to put a scapegoat for a lot of the delinquency.
Anyway, this has been my TED talk on Frederick Worthing and why you should hate him. Anyway,
Yep. Oh, speaking of, since I know Bianca loves crowdfunding, you want to know one crowdfunding comic I've backed? Now, it's less a actual crowdfunded book and more of a crowdfunded project that the company is doing. It's an already written and collected comic, but give me one moment. Just a moment. I'm just doing it just for Bianca because she's a big fan of these things. Just a moment. Um, and it's something I'm pretty sure you'll be aware of. Yeah, just some. Oh, come on. Ah, here we go. Because I backed this just recently. The Irredeemable collection.
nice.
All three, like you have not just Irredeemable, but also Incorruptible and Insufferable.
That's gonna be a good little trilogy.
Yep.
And just to help out this one person, Victor and Ma, and I can assume who they are based on what they usually ask me. So I'm just gonna answer this quick question. Shin Ultraman YouTube channel will be the big push for Ultra, which Ultraman is coming in the States, blah blah blah. I hope Shin Ultraman does well. I really do. I want that movie. I want to see it. I love Ultraman, Giant Boy. I have the comic on my shelf somewhere, manga and Marvel comic, because why not?
Mm-hmm.
Marvel comics okay. It's not the best thing ever, but hey.
Right. But
Yeah, this is my second TED talk.
Yep. So what have you been? So first of all, Bianca, look at this and check this out. I mean, for 160, you get all three of these omnibuses, and they're pretty thick omnibuses.
Nice.
Ooh.
I'll put
Yeah.
it in my next video.
Yeah. Well, it ends in a week,
Yeah, and
and I'm just letting you know.
I'm probably gonna go grab it, if only because I do actually want to review this series sometimes.
So do I.
bye,
And you have
Elon.
the new revival starting up soon. But I gotta say, this is definitely one of Wade's more interesting writing.
It comes from Wade's frustration of evil Superman stories, which I totally understand.
Oh, they've and this is before it became a cliche, even.
Bye, Raymond.
See you, Raymond. You know what I mean? This is where he did this before it became a cliche.
It was already cliche at that point, actually.
Well, it became a dead horse cliche is what I mean.
I guess, but even then, I think Mark Waid was a bit ahead of his time of basically saying, "I'm tired," because oh god, I can remember so many evil Superman stories before this with similar shit going on.
Oh yeah, I mean, people like to keep on bringing up oh, what's his name from Squadron Supreme?
Hyperion's a good example.
Hyperion, but even then, when he was originally done, he was not fully evil.
Well, Hyperion is more like
anti-hero. He's more like he's the anti-hero.
He's more like I actually call him misdirected, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I love I can't wait for the new Alex Ross Fantastic Four thing. I forget what it's called exactly, but I want it.
Oh yeah, but wait, isn't it supposed to be a case where Alex Ross is doing a screw you to Marvel and all that? No, not really. I'm sorry. The fact that people jumped on saying that, I'm like, you guys don't know. He's probably made just as much money doing all the covers as he is doing this book.
He's doing this book, the interiors?
No, not this book. I'm talking about the Fantastic Four book.
Oh.
Oh, you know one thing I love about what's Incorruptible is? I just love the idea that the bad guy is the longer he stays awake, the more invincible he gets. But the moment he falls asleep is when it resets and he's vulnerable again.
That was an interesting one.
Yeah, and what's the name of his sidekick? Jailbait.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to have crap tons of coffee.
Pretty much that's how it goes. Is the longer he stays awake, he's more vulnerable. I mean, that's a clever twist on that power, and I just also love it. The fact that he was one of the greater villains, not the greatest, but greater villains. And once the Plutonian became evil, he realized, Oh my god! If he's evil, what am I gonna do?
Uh, it was a
Question:
solid.
Does blinking counts?
Hmm? What?
Does blinking count as
Is
a
sleeping? No,
reset?
no. He has to actually fall asleep and be asleep for a couple hours.
No. So take
Yeah.
15-minute naps, and then you feel all terrible.
No,
I think
I think
I
that would
think they
weaken.
went a bit into that of like some of the limitations of it.
Yeah,
But I forget the exact details
it's been
on
a
that.
while. It's been a while, and that's why I'm getting these omnibuses because that's what I want. I want to
Well,
actually have these collections.
yeah, and besides, I want to see. I want to see. I want to see a Mark Waid's evil Superman versus Doctor Who fan fiction.
Also,
Okay.
you also have Insufferable, which was a book I wasn't even aware of, but it turns out it was like a digital
Yeah,
comic.
it was a yeah. Mark Waid was trying to experiment with a webcomic format called Thriller Bents.
Hmm.
And the idea for that one was, what if Robin grew up to be a total asshole?
You mean more so?
You
No,
mean Titan Show?
no. Okay, well, kind of. Yeah, actually, that makes more sense.
Fuck Batman.
Basically, Robin wants to be a celebrity, and Batman doesn't. And here's the thing: in this version of the story, Robin is directly Batman's son.
Ah,
So, like they're actually related.
so what if Dick Grayson was Damien?
Not really, because Damien, like, it's kind of like, what if Robin was asshole Booster Gold?
Ah, I gotcha. Now, question though: is this tied into the other books?
I,
Because it said
I,
it's thematic. It says it's a thematic sequel or conclusion.
yeah, it's basically Mark Waid's commentary on Batman and Robin, like, relationship. It's a thematic sequel, but it's not necessarily tied into it, except the name, kind of.
Hmm. Yeah, and,
So,
and the fact it's about a site, you have the hero, the villain, and the sidekick.
yes.
And wasn't
I would
Irredeemable also part of a different thematic trilogy that included Empire and another book?
Empire actually had a couple sequels
Oh no, but
itself.
it was. But I'm saying that wasn't Irredeemable a thematic part of a different thematic trilogy that included Empire.
I don't remember exactly Mark Waid intended it that way, because Empire was kind of like what if Doctor Doom
Doom
won?
one, yeah.
So that also, I think, like maybe Mark Waid has changed his mind on the thematic trilogy.
Well, I
Yeah,
think he did. I think he did by the time he did Insufferable. I think he is that would be. It's much more closer here than the other one.
yeah.
Well, like I say, looking back over at Superman Birthright. Oh Lord, that moment with the gun shop owner. I'm just like, oh wow, that's what they hint off a bunch of his political views that we weren't aware of. But
Yeah, I'd
yeah,
rather not.
but hey, to each his own. He's free to
Yeah,
have his own viewpoints on things, and it wasn't a horrible scene. I don't.
look,
I'm trying to get the guy on my show. I'm not going to badmouth him.
look. I'm going to say this. Mark Waid, my big problem is how he made an ass of himself outside of comics than anything else for a while.
Uh,
And it seems like he stopped, he got better, and he's trying to focus on making good comics.
and I think with World's Finest, it's showing. It's really. I'm loving World's Finest, and the fact, and it kept on saying like, oh, he's going to stick to the past, and then you have Batman versus Robin. I'm like, oh, he's not only coming to the present, he's picking up where Williamson left off.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just apparently somebody asked me if I could go into a bit more about distribution with comics, especially on Twitter. Okay,
um,
I'll do this.
if you want to, I mean, let's give Bianca more of a chance to talk.
True.
I mean, but yeah, are you interested in this though, Bianca?
If I had money.
If you had money. Well, to be fair,
Yeah.
if you want to, they do have the digital collections are $65.
No, I still can't afford that right now.
Oh, okay.
It's 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 sad, but that's just what happens sometimes. I'm gonna look at in stock trades and just salivate over books now.
Oh, look at this! Look at this! The slipcase versions, the silver box set version, and the gold box
Ooh.
version, and the ultimate box version.
Ooh, nice.
That one's limited to just 25.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Interesting.
but yeah, seriously, I really still think Wade is still one of those top tier writers. Still, Mm, I mean, overall. I mean, has he had some clunkers? Yes, but I've seen he's had more hits than he's had clunkers.
Um, it's one of those things of I'll say this: World's Finest recently was an impressive showing by him.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely was something I didn't expect to go so well. Hell, that Batman Superman fusion,
Oh
uh,
yeah!
massive
Wow.
hit, massive hit overall. Like people like that one.
I
I'm
kept on, I
thinking,
kept on expecting when I heard talks about that, I thought, oh, is it going to be composite Superman? No.
um, I didn't actually think there was going to be composite Superman from what I saw, but really, uh, have
I
I
want to
seen
see it.
Nope? Nope.
I want to, but I had COVID, so I'm recovering.
I have not seen Nope. I have not seen Nope. I did see League of Super Pets, and I really liked it.
I've heard people have been liking that, so good on that movie. I have not
Now,
seen
what's
it.
that? Wait, what's that noise? What was that noise?
I
Nothing. You're
don't
hearing
know.
things.
What was it? What was it? I heard like a. "Eeeeee."
Nothing. Nothing that exists.
Okay, Bianca, spell. What was it?
No, nothing.
What was it?
Nothing.
Fine, keep your secrets.
I mean,
Where
you'll
we
hopefully you
all
won't hear it again.
But but yeah, like I said, if you go in expecting it to be just nothing but a comedy, you're going to be disappointed. It's an adventure,
Adventure.
adventure. But that's what Ingrid and I really liked about it was that it was a very well written, well handled adventure. I mean, I did not expect Kevin Hart to actually be. I thought he was just going to be a big joke. He wasn't actually. He actually showed there was a lot of heart when it came to being Ace.
that's cool.
Which is what Ace is.
Yeah.
Even
uh,
though he's not going to be like a.
okay.
I guess I should be glad he's not like the copy and paste version of Batman.
Do you want to know anyone? Okay, spoilers if you want to know. Do you want to know Ace's backstory?
Sure, why not?
It for one, it is not a ripoff on Batman at all. It was he actually had a family. You had a husband, a wife, and a little infant daughter. And one day they're up on the second floor. The parents were in another room, but they had left the stairs open. And Ace saw that, went over, saved the Carol, but he do so he had to bite her to pull her back. The parents show up, they just see that he bit her, so they think, oh no, like oh, and so they send him to the shelter. And then, but then he says to Crypto, it was the worst day of my life, but I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Because when you love
Wow.
someone, truly love someone, you do whatever you can for them, even if it means letting them go. You know what they say about dogs, right? Never let them eat chocolate. They love unconditionally.
That's cute.
I know, but it's like that's the moment where you realize, oh my god, that's like the heart of the movie right there. And again, they could have made it a joke. They could have made it a farce, like, oh, his parents got killed or something. No,
From the
they did
trailer,
something that was.
he was like,
Oh, I was
I had a
Batman.
traumatic puppyhood.
No, no,
I
no,
thought
it
he
Okay,
was
was no,
just
no,
taken
no, no, no,
away.
no, 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 no. It was Batman. I became a loner when my family was taken from me. I became a loner when I was taken from my family.
okay.
Yeah,
They
something like
clearly should
that.
have gone. They clearly should have gone with the origin where a cat scratches his parents' dog's faces and they run away.
Yeah, but still, for
I,
this though,
I'm
it leads
joking.
into. I know, but I
I
gotta say, my favorite version for Ace has actually been the Tom King version, where he was one of the dogs the Joker had tortured, and that Alfred trains him to actually become a good dog.
That was a good take. I'll say that. Like,
It's not the
well,
best take, but it's definitely one that's for if you want to bring them in the modern day. I think that's one of the better ones. No, Bad Cow's not in it.
there's
Boo.
Oh my gosh, Shelby, I'm
Oh,
so sorry.
oh,
You
oh,
should sue that dog.
the other saving grace besides those two was Kate McKinnon as Lulu, the guinea pig, or the guinea pig. Because good lord, does she really sell all the dialogue? And she's one of my favorite type of comedic villains. The ones that are still hyper competent.
Who's Kate McGiffin?
Kate McKinnon. She
McKinnon.
if you did you ever see Ghostbusters 2016? She was the scientist.
oh her yeah.
She
Yeah,
was
and
the only
I mean,
scientist, right?
no, they were technically all scientists, but she was the one that actually built the stuff.
Okay.
She's the only character that people really liked in that movie.
The
I tried
blonde
to
one?
Yeah, the blonde.
I thought the other one was a scientist. Too.
They were all scientists, but she was the one who actually built a lot of stuff. She was the mad scientist of the group.
She
The
was
other
the
one
whack.
didn't. I could have sworn they built stuff together.
Though they did, but she was the whack job.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Makes sense.
that entire movie was special.
That
It could
entire
have. I said
movie
the cast
was okay.
the cast itself could have worked. It had a better script to work on. No, I'm saying if the
I liked the dance
if
at the end.
that was dumb.
That was fantastic.
I have
You're crazy.
I
I
have
know.
mixed feelings.
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, no, like I'll try to check out Super Pets sometime when I have the time for it because
Yeah.
oh my god,
I was going to say wait till it comes to HBO Max, but who knows if that's going to happen?
oh at this point I'm like living in this weird wonderland of I'll get to something.
They took down the witches.
Wait, did you say
yeah.
Leslie Grace made a comment about that too, Robert?
What about what?
About HBO Max and
No.
Discovery merging?
I was gonna bring up about how
I
with
miss
Grace,
that now too.
I feel so bad for those people who went to her Instagram and just started attacking her. Why? Why do these people do that?
I was like,
look,
if I go to her Instagram and like the recent one was 3 days ago, she's holding flowers and she's putting flowers all over her hair. And then you just see mean comments like, haha, your movie was canceled. And I'm like,
Get
now's
woke, go
the
broke.
time. And then the one where she's singing to the little boy who died of cancer.
You're not Batgirl. You're not Batgirl.
Yeah, and they're like, ha ha ha. This
I hate that
didn't age
shit.
well. And I'm like, bro, come on. That's not cool.
I hate that shit. Look,
I mean,
get it. I get it to an extent, but come on. Like, here's the thing. I always say don't attack the actors or actresses and stuff like that. Please don't.
they feel emboldened. Some of these guys feel emboldened, especially some of those who are affiliated with certain other group that I'm not going to get into. But
look, I don't.
Especially after their recent campaign reached a lot of money, we all know that. But that seems to have emboldened them even more so.
I am going to avoid talking about this because
that's why I'm. Why do you think I'm dancing around it?
My opinions aren't going to make anybody happy, and I accept this as a fact. Anyway,
look, I was just gonna say when it comes to that, yay, he made a lot of money. I have no interest in it because it looks like a lot of ripoffs.
My opinion is I'll wait to see what happens.
What? You're just cartoon and comics here?
Oh, it's canceled. They're like to merge with Discovery Plus. No, not yet.
I honestly think it's going to be one of those things. Because some people are like,
I agree,
guys, this guy cares about making money, and I'm like, yeah, if he cared about making money, he would care about what's the bigger brand.
Yeah, and going for Discovery over Warner Brothers is dumb.
Basically, that's what it comes down to. Well, not even
how
just
much was the Scoob? The Scoob was like $70 million.
No,
right?
40 million.
40 million, and then you have the Batgirl that's 90 million. But the Flash was It just confirmed that it's
300,
over
300.
300 million. And I'm
Yeah.
like, gosh dang. And that's with the reshoots and everything. And I'm like, wouldn't that be the most expensive one? Especially with all the reshoots that you have to
Okay,
do.
I don't blame him from not wanting to do anything with CW shows. I don't blame that because that became like that's been rotting away.
Except
Uh,
Except
Superman
for
and
Stargirl.
Lois and
Except for Star.
Stargirl, even though
Except,
Stargirl
Look,
is
I don't count
HBO.
Stargirl as part of the CW shows. It was
Mhm.
HBO. It was
That's
DC
true.
Universe first. It got onto CW, but it was still good.
and
So
Superman and Lois. And Superman and Lois.
And that's the
so-
true CW show.
that's the one that counts. Oh God, I want to
Just
see.
because Jeff Johns has a bigger role in that one he's done in so many of the other shows.
I want to see what happens with Gotham Knights when that's gonna come out because my
They're
God,
probably canning that. They already canned the Green Lantern series.
no, its trailer is done. They've
No,
clearly
no,
got.
they just said it was canceled long ago.
No, I mean Gotham Knights, not
Oh,
Green
Gotham Knights. I'm sorry.
Uh,
Oh, wait, the show or the game? The show or the game?
the show. I want to see. I want to see that disaster come out. I want to see the hubris on display of being like, guys, we're gonna make our own OC the star of a Batman show.
Bad idea.
I'm like,
Why?
okay.
Why didn't anyone say this was a bad idea? Why didn't anyone say this was a bad idea?
Honestly, CW always worked on like I think if CW worked on a couple things. One, old cable models, because a lot of older cable worked on lower things, lower view counts, but also they did a lot of shows because they liked them or they liked the people working on them. Like if you look up the history of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which was another major, well, not major show, but it was a show that was done because they liked Rachel Bloom. It was critically acclaimed, but drew in poor fucking ratings like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But they kept it on for as long as they could. So my theory has always been with the Batwoman with Gotham Knights, is that they wanted to give the Batwoman crew something to do. So that's what they did.
Again, with Batwoman. When they made Kate Kane Batwoman, I still remember this, and I brought it up before. The media jumped on and thought, oh my God, it's a lesbian superhero. And DC was like, no, oh God, no. And they held off because like, no, she's not a lesbian superhero. She's a superhero that's a lesbian. So they held off for a while, and then they gave her proper stuff released. And well, what did CW do? She's a lesbian superhero. Oh, it's going to be better when it's on a woman, all that stuff. It's like you guys didn't understand why people liked her, and it's that big problem with a lot of things. When they may have a character who's gay or bi, have it be they just happen to be gay or bi. Quit making it be that their dominant trait.
I really think, honestly, the problem with Batwoman ultimately has never been like her sexuality. It's always been they never found a good way to place her in the context of Batman. Also, I think she's the first example of what I call the Bat family glut.
Really?
Yeah, because okay,
not some of the other ones that popped up.
She's the earliest example.
Oh, really?
In my opinion, and I'll just explain this. So the whole thing is that before you had Batwoman, certain characters were able to fill roles within the Bat family easily enough. But why would you
explain Orpheus and Onyx?
Yes, but here's the thing. What can Batwoman do that the Huntress can't?
Huntress
has a gun instead of a bow and arrow.
Yeah, and that's kind of my point. Is that Huntress and Batwoman are kind of like they're the older Bat adjacent female character in the family, so they kind of fill the same roles,
right?
And and no offense to if you like either of them, okay? I'm just saying, well, like differences start to really become very, and Hunter Scott, of course, pushed to the side, but now
Because she
everybody's
was
like, oh,
Italian.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and so and then and then you introduce, and I'm not trying to say like any of them's bad. She's just the first example I can think of where it started to get like okay, but it's still workable. Then we go into Harper Row,
Mm.
then the Batwings,
Them Duke.
then Duke, and then it's like okay.
We need more Superman people.
Honestly, yes, I'd be okay with more Superman people, or at least give Steel a fucking series.
Yes.
Give John Henry Irons something to
Or
do.
Natasha.
Or hell, I don't know, give me Eradicator. I'm ready for him to get his own ongoing series.
Or bring back give us Kristen Wells, Superwoman.
Uh, Fine, cool. She can come from the future again. Actually, fucking adapt Miracle Monday into a fucking comic. I can't believe they haven't done.
Don't they have to pay money to Elliot Magan?
Yes, of course. Why not?
Oh yeah, if I remember right, didn't Supergirl screw him over on that?
I don't know, or something. Whatever. Like, I'm sure DC would be willing to work it out if they were like, man, we could get a classic comic book story into like, because oh my god, the fact that it is stuck in a fucking book that's not even been reprinted in years.
Yeah.
It annoys me. Annoys me.
Miracle Monday is one of the best Superman stories.
Yeah, and honestly,
I thought it was Birthright.
Look, we can all agree there's a lot of good Superman stories. We can all like love Superman.
Sorry. Can I tell you one that I got in an argument
what? Yes, I would love Keenan Kong to get his own series again. He was great.
Oh yeah, he was. But I was this. You know what the one story that I got into a bit of an argument with Adam Loves Superman about?
Oh, what?
Superman Godfall. I like that story. I think it's underrated, but it's so sucked. Like, wait, so many people thought it sucked? Really?
Honestly, there's a couple reasons why. My take on this is one. At the time, it was just Michael Turner was becoming very easy, popular comic artist, designed only for Coomers. Haha. He draws sexy women, so we can't take.
And he was about to do Supergirl.
Yeah, his Supergirl work. That's one aspect about it. It's not the. I'll say it's not. DC did a lot of heavy promotion of it, but taken as its own, it's a fun story.
Oh yeah.
As a graphic novel, it's a great read. The design for Superman's fucking great. Like,
oh yeah, and what's her name? The girl that woman he thought he was his wife.
Yeah, and
Lila.
Lilo should have been a villain who was brought back on occasion, more often at least.
And then Prius, oh boy, that's one that Chuck Austin totally butchered.
Yes.
By pairing him with it, because he had potential. He had potential to be a Superman zealot.
Like, there's a lot of good stuff in that story that I really feel like. But, it's like, oh, look, we have to talk about Batman because we have to suck the Batcock. Look at it there. It hasn't. We need to give Batman 5 other series now. Sorry. I make fun. I make fun. I like Batman. I just wish DC.
Lies. I'm just kidding.
I know. Sure.
Oh, and I can say also, I really like the Majestic stuff that was drawn at the same time.
The Majestic crossover was actually more solid than
Abbott and Lanning, I think they actually had my favorite take on Majestic. One who actually was no longer like, as Superman once put it, you were a you look like a superhero, but you act like a tyrant and a dictator. And I just love it. By the end of it all, he's finally found a balance where he's like, okay, I never had a human perspective. Now I do.
No. Actually, Cartoons and Comics is talking about this because I kind of want to bring this up.
Okay, go ahead.
Archie Comics is like the only family-owned comic book company in the United States.
Yep.
It's still owned by the family of the original founders. So, yeah. So that's actually.
I'm always impressed by that, and I gotta say, they've at least take chances. Like ever since they introduced Kevin Keeler, they did start to take chances of trying to shake things up a bit.
Yeah, though I will admit they do have issues. For one thing, I don't know why they have issues getting out decent trade collections.
Agreed.
For one thing, I would also prefer if they actually got some of Ironically, I would like to see some of their superhero work get some nice, decent
Mhm.
collections,
The
especially
circle, the circle, I believe.
uh, honestly, like the fact that they have Alex Toth work and it's not readily available just makes me mad.
Yeah, but I would say though, I mean, the stuff like the horror lines, I wish that would continue on. I mean, they did art, Jughead the Hunger and Vampironica, and then the last thing we've ever had between all that was, besides the crossover, was Vampironica: The New Blood, and they haven't done anything since.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how they just keep like, why is that?
Oh
How
yeah, and then you had, it took us how long to get a new issue of Sabrina, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, but we still haven't gotten any new issues of Afterlife with Archie. God damn it!
it's a whole thing, and I don't know why.
I mean,
I
seriously,
actually,
Bianca, you were there for the Afterlife with Archie and the Afterlife with Archie stuff, right? Didn't that still like you're like, whoa?
mhm.
Yeah.
But
Can somebody check to see if Shelby's telling the truth? There was gonna be a Nightwing anime show.
What?
That's what he said. If you scroll down a little bit
Yeah, no, no. I
or
see
scroll
it.
up.
I see it. I see it. But I got to load it up. Hold on.
to be fair, there's always been a Nightwing something in development for a long time.
Yeah.
He's just
American or Japanese?
mm,
Because the Japanese, like, there's been like animes of the Avengers and stuff, so
Oh
that's
yeah. Yep.
possible.
Oh yeah. The Wolverine anime.
Yeah, the Bayonetta anime sucked. The Devil May Cry
Oh,
anime
the
was
canceled.
amazing
The
though.
canceled. I could believe it. I'm pretty sure there's been a whole bunch of shows that were going to be done and then canceled.
I mean, it's literally just he's literally just Spider-Man.
But
uh,
but still though, I mean, I liked when Archie took some chance. I mean, the Merry Life.
the Archie multiverse. Fucking
Yeah, well,
dang.
basically, I know. Oh, you had the first Archie versus Predator, and then you had the second one, which was pretty bad. You remember that one too? Remember Bianca? How you and the others groaned because you're like, what? This was basically Alex the Campy. She surprised me how well she did the first one, but the second one was so much of a, oh, those of you who hate the new stuff, shut up. This is how awesome the reboot Archie is.
Yeah.
They're admitting it.
Yeah, I remember. Ugh.
Look,
Oh, and,
if I
and I'm
need
gonna pair up
look,
Betty and Veronica.
look, if I need an Archie anime, I'll just watch Tenchi Muyo again. Okay,
I love Tenchi Muyo.
I
I've
love
never seen Tenchi
Finding out that it
Muyo.
actually got wrapped up recently, finally.
that.
Wow.
It's always in various stages. I have to actually check out the newer stuff
No,
sometime.
yeah,
Just out of
the
curiosity.
newest stuff basically finally closes it and leads into what was that other series?
GXP,
No, not GXP.
War on
War on
Denmark.
yeah. It led into War on Geminar.
Okay,
That was the whole point of the last OVA, was them training his half brother and everything to head on out. And we finally get to see, oh, remember when they say Tenchi marries them all and has kids with all of them? Oh
yeah,
yeah,
What?
we actually see that with Ryoko. Ryoko's the first one to have his kid, then Ayaka, and then Ryo-Oki.
of course. Yes.
It's like,
Anyway,
I'm just like, so Ryoko's the first one to have his kid. Okay, did not expect that.
it's in order of when he met them.
You're right.
And I always say it's always the first one you see.
Well,
Honestly,
even Tenchi Universe, I always loved that how Tenchi Universe, they gave us a definitive answer with just one girl.
uh, Tenchi. I it's very hard to explain the Tenchi series without saying you had to be there.
Well, I only focus on the first two. I do not focus on In Tokyo, since that wasn't even meant to be a Tenchi series.
Yes, we all know that one. Uh,
What the fuck were they thinking?
uh, t- look, basically, it's easy to say that Tenchi popularized a lot of harem anime concepts.
Until Love Hina reinvigorated it.
Yeah, essentially, Love Hina
And
and all
I
that jazz.
like Love Hina. I like Love Hina, but only the Tokyo Pop rendition of the manga. I do not let the anime can burn in hell for all I care.
Honestly, last time, God, I can't even think of Tokyo Pop without going.
Hey, it's still better than the other manga translation, which is basically a literal translation.
I'll have to look that up sometime, just by comparison, see which I like better. But
You know, Tokyo Pop, it had some translation issues, but for the most part, it felt like there was a good flow to it. It actually felt like, a natural read, whereas the other one just feels so stilted and
Stiff.
yeah, and stiff. Yeah, exactly. It feels like this is literally what was translated in the book.
Which is how Japanese people talk.
yes,
They're so
I
stiff.
the big issue I have mostly is Tokyo Pop's business practices, which are
Yeah, I will give you that. I will give you the practices, but the end result on the books you cannot deny.
maybe Tokyo Pop had pretty shitty quality on the books. I'm talking paper quality.
Oh, paper quality, yes. I'm talking about
Yeah.
translations.
Oh God, those books yellow like crazy.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at my copies right on my shelf right now. They are yellow as yeah.
Oh God, I love.
Shelby, really? You think I chose to be wrong? You have not read the books.
I, look, look. We can all have wars on translations, but clearly, Shelby, you need to fight him in a duel. We'll have this at dawn. Pistols to the top.
Oh,
We'll
by
see
the
who
way,
wins.
since the last time we talked, you actually went over a book I had brought up during the last time we were on, Fight Club 2 and 3.
Oh,
Or what the fuck did I just read?
Fight Club 2 and 3. That was those were fun threads because nobody knew what happened in those books.
And then it turns out, it's connected to a still incompleted trilogy of his novels.
I didn't realize there was a Chuck Palahniuk expanded universe until I read them.
I didn't either until I'm like, wait, seriously?
I discovered that by complete accident.
So did I.
I was like, okay, because here's the thing. No, the reason I did it, the reason I actually reviewed those fucking books was because nobody had a good summation of Fight Club 3.
I know, they have plenty for 2. They have plenty for 2, but nothing for 3. I know
that's because everybody saw 2 was this horrible disaster of a comic. Which it
was an overly pretentious ending.
Oh, that was nothing compared to 3.
Oh no, 3, you're just like, what the fuck even happened?
Oh, Quaint, you're here! Yay!
Yeah.
I forgot your real name.
Hey, Quaint.
Don't worry about it. It starts with an M. I know that.
But the problem with the fucking book was just, I tried. I really tried to engage with it, but he really.
Trust me, dude. We're well past the Batgirl stuff, so sorry you missed most of it.
Yeah, we ended up talking about some of it. Unfortunately, since there's only so much info out there, we can't really do long things on it.
Sidekick. But anyway, you were saying?
Mm-hmm.
You were saying, yeah.
But anyway, Fight Club 2 and 3. I didn't realize there was this whole trilogy connection aspect until I was like, okay, what's his name? Because I felt like, okay, this is clearly connecting to something else. So I did my research, looked up the names that were said, and I was like, oh my God, Chuck went full Michael Moorcock on us.
Okay, Bianca, we see what you're doing.
No, you don't.
Now, but hey, have you ever done a thread on Kyle Baker's Plastic Man?
I'm considering getting the omnibus first before I do it.
I've got that. Hold on.
I need to get that in my collection. If only because I want to do a full run through of that. Okay, and there's also one other thing stopping me. How much of the Jack Cole Plastic Man do I want to cover?
Oh, that's a good one.
Plastic Man.
Hey, look at this, the rubber band.
Yes, awesome. So, because I feel like I really want to talk about Jack Cole as a creator because he's not a creator a lot of newer people know about. He's for people who don't know, Jack Cole was one of the great artists of the Golden Age.
Beyond an amazing artist.
One of the great comic creators. A lot of people look up to him. name me one of your favorite comic creators, and they were probably semi-inspired by Jack Cole, if not outright.
Perez
Uh,
probably.
the indie scene in America would not be what it is without him.
Exactly. And again, you got Plastic Man as well from during Police Comics.
Anyway, Jack Cole, I committed suicide sometime, I want to say, in the 1960s, I think.
Oof.
Yeah, died relatively. There was a lot of issues with him. For years, the guy was also a Playboy staff artist.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So,
But the fact that he's at least lived on by Plastic Man.
Yeah, he's lived on by Plastic Man. It's just he's a creator I really want to talk about, so I just didn't really. So with Plastic Man, it's like, okay, what do I want to focus on? I want to focus on both Kyle Baker and Jack Cole.
And don't forget the '80s mini. Don't forget the '80s mini.
Yeah, but I really want to focus on those.
Oh yeah, and like I say though, this was a case where it should have stayed at 6 inches like it meant to, and then it went on to Baker was given. I feel bad for him, but at the same time, then he kind of gives you a huge middle finger at the end, where you're like, "Okay, f you, dude."
I like the comic overall, but either way.
Yeah, but that ending arc where it became like one big massive f you.
Yeah, either way.
So can I ask something about the Batgirl thing? So what does everybody mean when they're talking about losses? Because
Okay. People are basically trying to say is they didn't have to do the tax write-off because they still could have made money off of it. They probably would have made enough to make it. But in this case, but now because of the tax write-off, they can't even release it anymore. They cannot make any money off of it, period.
legally.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Legally they can't make money off it. They can't really release it in some form.
And they're basically saying that they would have made their. Here was trying to say they would have made their money back. They didn't have to do this, but at the same time, it's like.
It was a similar tactic done to another couple shows. Symbiotic Titan and
I love Symbiotic Titan.
At least Symbiotic Titan came out though.
Megas XLR.
Oh, Megas! Oh, God. But those both came out at least.
Yeah, but let me explain. You see, they could have had more, but they were written off as a tax write-off, so Cartoon Network can't even air them anymore.
That explains a lot.
So how come they took out Batgirl, but not something like the Flash movie? Is it because they think the Flash movie is actually going to at least break even?
It might be one of those cases of
too much money into it.
Too much money, too much like. Okay, here's the thing. Batgirl had a shorter production run.
Yeah.
There's like a lot. It's a lot more known. There's trailers. Batgirl just has a picture.
No, that's not true. If you follow them, they've released videos. I saw her fighting with Brendan Frazier as Firefly. What?
Frazier.
Okay. No, it's Frazier.
Oh,
Frazier.
He said himself, it's pronounced Frazier. Frazier. It's not Frazier, it's Frazier. So I'm like,
all right.
Okay. So
that's how he said it. I'm making fun of it.
Do they actually have people trailers?
No, they didn't have any trailers.
Clips, like actual backstage footage of him on top of a fire truck using the fire power. And I was like, yo, this looks cool. And then one where she's like, and like stuff like that.
Okay.
Just clips.
So,
and to be fair, you can still get Megas XLR on the Apple TV.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Who uses Apple TV?
I'm just saying right now with a lot of stuff like tax, like who knows how Batgirl will event. Like at this point, what I'm expecting with Batgirl is that we will get look
a lawsuit.
It'll get leaked somehow.
I'm kind of hoping. Like, we already know that the plot leak was like, oh, it's literally the exact same as Batgirl Year One.
The only thing I'll say with it is that I've heard weird things about the Michael Keaton performance, and I kind of want to see that.
Yeah.
Only 5 scenes, though? Is it really worth it?
Yeah.
But I'm glad that J.K. Simmons was highly praised. That
that's the thing.
Who else? Brendan Frazier.
People keep on saying, "Oh, it tanked." It was, in the screens when it's like, no, most people said it was okay at best.
the people who did the screenings themselves were confused why this article came out. They're like, there should be no reason
I
that
think
this screening was like.
I think the guy from Discovery wanted to say that just so they could make an excuse.
Um, like all, who knows? Honestly, it's
They
an
said to take it with a grain of salt because they weren't aware that there was another screening in the first place.
of all things. Okay, whatever the case may be, I don't know exactly. I wish I could see like the inner workings of this shit so I can understand
Same
it.
here. Same here.
But you know,
So, oh,
uh,
hey, getting into quick question: who would you say is the top tier writers going currently at Marvel and DC currently?
uh, honestly, if I'm gonna say the big one I can think of right off the top of my head is Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah,
Like in general,
I would say Williamson as well.
Williamson's a good example. Chip is doing good work for Batman and Daredevil. Whenever he does
Hmm.
Spider-Man work, it's good. Uh, some people are gonna say Dan Slott. I'm not, but he
No,
is to some people.
I would say, although I will say, Reckoning War went better than I saw it by the end of it.
Yeah. If I'm
But
going,
sorry,
but yeah, like big talents at either of them.
I would
Well,
still say Donny Cates to a degree because
Johnny Cates is probably one of the major dudes too.
now,
Al Ewing has
oh
been
yeah,
making a name up for himself. Like Immortal Hulk, that's up for an Eisner this year.
yeah,
So
but I will also say though that wait, didn't the Eisners already happen?
yeah, it's up for an Eisner. I totally forgot to check
Oh,
who
Philip Kennedy Johnson and Ram V, yes.
Ram V. He's getting up there. Philip Kennedy. I
Jason,
do.
I would know Jason Aaron is the guy that Marvel's keeping around to keep happy. I've noticed because
Uh,
you do not have Al Ewing and Donny Cates both doing the main characters in their books, doing everything they can to retcon what Aaron is doing, and then for Aaron saying, "Oh nope, I'm retconning it back to my stuff." You do not have that going on if you're just trying to keep him on the book to keep him happy.
Honestly, right now, I can't wait for his Avengers run to be over. It's been
But
a
you don't
waste.
talk about right. Look at what like Donny Cates. He tries to say, "Oh no, no, Phoenix is not his mother." Jason Aaron, yes, she is. Deal with it. Or Al Ewing. Oh, Jen is not. That's not Jen's real personality. She just got changed by the Green Door. Nope, that's how she is. Deal with it.
He is so pissy, and I understand. It's
You
like,
don't have
look,
the infight. You don't have this infighting going on unless there were people who just want him gone.
I feel like they gave him the Punisher because he was the only one willing to do it.
To be fair, his Punisher Max was not bad. That's the weird thing.
Um, so far his Punisher, I'll say, it's
It's dumb.
odd. It's dumb. It also feels like for some reason, anytime he does Punisher, it turns into Daredevil fan fiction. And
Oh
why?
yeah, because that was the whole point. What it was Max, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna bring in Kingpin and Elektra and Bullseye.
Why is that a consistent trait of it? How did this happen? Why? Why? I have
Wait
so
a
many.
minute,
What?
Shelby, you didn't know that Michael Keaton was gonna be in Batgirl as Batman? That
Yeah,
was the
Yeah, and it was supposed
that
to
whole.
was
be a very
amazing.
Batman
That was
Beyond like.
It was the guy that made Primal. That's Gendy.
Gendy Tarkovsky, which Bianca and I
Tarkovsky.
did a review of this Cage Mini. You should do something on that one too, man. The Cage
Oh,
Mini.
Primal season 2 is out. Oh, I'm so excited.
Have
probably
you
something.
have you read that Cage Mini?
Oh, that was a plan. I was actually good. Luke Cage has been in one of those spots of I have an idea for a thread later. I just don't know when I'm going to do it and what I'm going to talk about exactly. But that was definitely going to be a major point to it.
Yeah, because that was a fun mini, a dumb fun mini. It
I'm
turned your brain off.
thinking of maybe doing like a triple threat thing of Cage, Iron Fist, and then Heroes for Hire as a thing, and just look at them together
Hmm.
because they're just at this point so interconnected as franchises
Yeah.
that I'm like, yeah, no, it's impossible to do one without the other at this point.
Oh, by the way, I noticed you did a tweet sharing off your Transformers versus G.I. Joe book. I had that long ago.
I know. I did because I needed to get that copy, and IDW's losing the license, and I didn't want to have to rely on it just not existing at for years on end.
But you do realize this though. There's one piece of page or extra material that's not in it. You know what that is?
What?
The commentary page from the movie adaptation.
No, they have the.
No, 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 not for the movie adaptation. They have all the other commentaries. They have all the other features. They do not have the commentary, the one-page commentary for the movie adaptation.
Oh, weird.
That's the only thing. So that's do what I do. You print it off. You put a copy in your in the book and keep it there.
I'll have to check that out then. Either way, yeah, no, honestly, with the book, honestly, it's one of those things. Just like, yeah, I just was like, I'm just gonna be prepared. I'm actually planning on doing a big thread for IDW's Transformers series
Oh
once
boy,
Last Bot Standing is done.
which I'm actually liking. I did not expect them to bring a character from the Beast Wars anime.
I think I was like looking at it, it's like, yeah, this is pretty much a summation of what IDW Transformers was. Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
enjoying it.
yeah, and I am enjoying it, and it makes sense because if I remember right, the artist is the guy who did the first mini artwork.
Uh, Nick, it's not exactly the first mini. Nick Roche was very instrumental to the idea of Transformers, though.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very important book overall. I like it so far.
Yep,
Uh,
and then you have Shattered Glass 2.
I'm now trying to find a way to make a cloak for my Rodimus figure. That, for obvious reasons, if you
Right, right. But now I would say this though. Technically, the final thing they're going to be doing is going to be the Shattered Glass 2 mini.
Oh yeah, technically, I want to do Last Spot Standing because that feels like the
Oh yeah,
proper.
and the fact that but I actually did not mind the first Shattered Glass mini. It was an interesting tweak on it.
Yeah, look, I'm glad Shattered Glass is still getting love despite being this weird botcon concept.
I know, but it's a good idea.
It is. The colors are great.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Comics and Cartoon has a question.
Yes.
Would you confirm that Justice League it's more like Discovery Project than a DC? What?
No, I
No, I don't think so. That seems like something that the artist wanted, the writer wanted to do, Darren Warren Johnson, and they just let him do it. That does not sound like something that Discovery told him to do.
I don't think Discovery is even thinking of the comics. I
No,
really
oh, that's the other thing I want to say. People are saying, "Oh, they're going to shutter DC." DC doesn't do much of a dent one way or the other for them to keep it. They will not earn that much by closing it down at all.
honestly, the thing about it is that they are going to have to keep DC alive for one reason, or they're going to have to renegotiate.
IP farming, IP farming.
Uh, they lose the rights to Wonder Woman.
Well, that too, that too. But didn't they finally settle that once and for all? I thought.
No, the Marston family still owns her.
Really, I thought they finally resolved that, and that's how they were able to finally get her in movies and Donna and stuff.
They gave permission.
Really, again, I thought they actually got the rights fully.
No, they never. No, they just finally approved it.
Okay.
This is
But yeah,
from
but everyone keeps saying they're going to sell it off. It's like, why would you sell multi-billion IPs off? Why are you guys this stupid to be thinking it? You do not get how business works.
honestly, like, uh, well, the rights to here's okay.
No, no, okay, it's not rights. It's the copyright. But DC still owns everything that came out after Action Comics #1.
Well,
They own the flights. They own.
So here's the thing: Superman is up. Superman's not going to go up for public domain until 2038.
Yeah, but then it's just like what happened with Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh, you cannot have the red shirt Winnie the Pooh, and that's animated and everything. And
Yeah.
they're kind of pushing it with that that horror movie, but you can't have that because that's the Disney version. Same
Yeah.
thing with Superman. You can someone could come up with their own Superman stuff, but they can only use the stuff that's in Action Comics #1. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, but even then, it's gonna change as years go by. So, like in Like by the
Well, you
time,
can't
like,
trademark, but you still can't trademark it.
yeah, technically, like they'll do a lot of different things. We'll see what happens with all that because I talk to a dude about public domain stuff all the time because it's a very fascinating subject matter,
Yeah.
and we'll see what eventually happens.
No,
Uh,
no, they will, Hominus. They will go in the public domain eventually.
at this point, like unless like some lawmakers really get, because at this point, I think
The
at this
last time,
point,
the last renewals they did was the last time they had it. They could do it. I don't think we're at anywhere where they can do it anymore.
once it gets to 100 years, it's over. It just is.
Yeah.
Uh, hey guys, you know Mr. Peanut's in the public domain? Yeah, you can use Mr. Peanut, by the way. Um, but yeah, no, there's a lot of shit you can actually do, but it is what's going to happen. Like, here's the thing: Warner never had much say in the law on like trademarking. It's always been Disney, and Disney doesn't own Superman, though they clearly wanted to by judging by the Hercules movie from the 90s.
Yep, yep. But but yeah, but then the thing is, then you have everyone who's saying, and oh boy, when I still remember when EVS tried to say, oh, Siegel and Schuster are going to make another attempt at getting it. They can't. They literally cannot anymore. They
Oh,
like
yeah.
their last attempt was their last one, and now it's been made definitively clear DC owns it. They sold it off. Whether they want to admit it or
Uh,
not, it was what.
there's also been some settling from them as well, so they'll get
Oh yeah,
some
that's
money.
the other thing. There was some sign, but when Ethan tried to say, "Oh no, they're secretly trying to plan it again," that's why DC's word and why they're going to give it to John. It's like you're making up BS. The same thing I've heard of people. Oh God, hey Bianca, you're going to agree with me on this one. You're not going to believe this. Speed. There was a guy who, in the comments, stupidly said, "Oh, John was shown by was exposed to pink kryptonite. That's why he was bi. It's not because he wanted to. It's because Jay exposed it to him, and it's actually sexually assaulting John." And then I called him out. And he says, "Oh well, I don't know. I don't read woke Marvel and DC. It's just what I've been told." It's like, pfft,
I
really?
I'm finally caught up with the Son of Kal-El. The 13th issue just came in, and I
Yeah.
finally read it.
And
Okay.
I'm actually really enjoying this series, and it makes me feel so bad because a lot of people don't like it, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
If you like it, hey, cool. I really don't mind. Like,
but
I'm
get
not
me though, that is BS. Someone being telling that, and then people believing it.
let me put it this way: if anybody who likes something, I'm always happy for them. It's
Oh yeah.
my opinion has always been, I wish I was you, so I could like that series as well.
Okay, and that's fair, but you get what I'm saying. The stupidity of the pink kryptonite stuff, and saying that's what I was told. It's like you're an idiot.
I look. My big problem with Superman, Son of Kal-El, is that I hate Jay so much.
Oh, okay, you're preaching to the choir there. I cannot stand Jay. To be
I
honest,
don't understand the hate for him. He just
Jay comes off like he's a villain. I'm sorry,
he
especially when
um,
doesn't to me
you have
at all.
you had
my
that point where he said Batman's wrong. We're
my
not bad, but we still kill
issue
people.
my issue with Jay is more how the book revolves around him.
Oh yeah, didn't the artist actually say
It's
it was?
so focused on him, and he kind of overtakes the book.
I mean, no, granted, the bad guy's taking over his town, so it makes
And
sense.
my big problem is that here's the thing. I wish that John would actually stand up to him and discuss things, and there was more of a back and forth.
Oh yeah, instead it's like, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. Yes,
And
my
I
boyfriend.
feel like Jay kind of just overwhelms the book. That's just
Yeah.
my take on it.
Oh no,
And
Probably
I'm not saying.
because it's revolved around his people, isn't it? And he
Yeah.
just wants to do something about it.
yeah, but I'm also reading this book for John,
Yeah.
and I really want to get focus on him and see him develop more.
Like how it was in the beginning, like up to issue
Yeah,
5, I
like
believe.
yeah, because the thing is that Jay just takes the air out of the book and focuses on this Wildstorm shit. And I'm like, it just
Yeah, I
doesn't
would say
work for
now
me.
the stuff with John and Nightwing, I do like. It's like that Big Brother thing. Like
Uh,
it made sense.
I kind of, it's not the worst thing ever. I just feel like there's such a weird feeling for this generation of new DC characters because it feels like the generations are out of whack.
But
Like you have
at least
John,
no, sorry.
like you have John and Damian who are best friends, but now the new Batman is some other dude who I barely care about.
Now I'll say though, at least they are still doing better than Marvel, where Marvel was all deal with it. You're either you either accept them or you're an istophobe. At least DC's like, okay, you either have this book that has that character or this book was the original character. At least they're giving you an option.
My big problem with Jay, like I said, I don't mind necessarily Jay that much. It's just
He's hogging the spotlight.
yeah, basically.
Well, hey, at least we're finally going to be getting up soon to Superman. Superman returning. Oh, by the way, what do you think about Conduit returning?
I'm excited.
Yeah, I am. He's already back in the backup stories. It's like, yes! I don't care if they don't explain how he's back. I am so glad he's back. He's one of those guys who the 90s aesthetic of his outfit worked. It's so 90s, but it's still timeless.
Okay, so mhm.
What?
um, but but if I'm gonna say like with look, it's the original Hush. He's back. I'm happy.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's like, would you agree with what I just said, though? It's like his outfit makes, is it's that type of 90s-ness that's still timeless, kind of, to it.
I
Like,
I always dug his look. I can't wait to see what he's gonna like. Honestly, look. Let me put it this way. I I love it when rogues in galleries get used who aren't the big names. It's always
yeah.
fun for me.
And he was supposed to come back in 1001.
Good for him.
If,
Honestly,
if Jurgens had stuck around instead of Bendis, that was supposed to be the very next issue.
goddamn Bendis.
Yep. Fuck Bendis. But and I will say this, I mean, Philip Kennedy Johnson, he gets Superman. I feel, especially the fact that he knows Clark Kent is not just Superman with glasses. He treats like, no, Clark is a separate person, and I think Kent
Um,
Johnson gets that Bendis never did.
well, to me, I always view Clark and Superman as different sides of the
Oh,
same person.
yes.
They're all
I've already told you my view. There's three of them.
yeah, like there's a makeshift one. There's Superman and Clark Kent.
Yes.
Like that's
Mixed
what
one, and the mixed one, the one when he's around Ma, Pa, or Lois, that's the real Clark.
I.
But
Yeah.
but I think Bendis only saw Superman. He never really saw Clark. He was one of those who saw like who. I think Bendis believed the whole Kill Bill speech.
I don't think Bendis does. I think Bendis and let me put it this way: Bendis wants to grab attention, and that's usually what he's always focused on. And that's really his drive as a creator is often to grab attention from a lot of people to seem big. So he often tries to do shocking stories or shocking twists he thinks will grab headlines. Like,
Right.
oh, Clark Kent reveals his identity. That's a great headline. They already did it a couple of years ago, but who cares? I'm Bendis.
Oh, that was from All Star Superman, Shelby.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Uh,
and I agree with that. But then you had uh oh, the Legion is telling John, when are you going to become Superman? Basically trying to imply that Clark was never the true Superman, John was, and that Clark was just a placeholder until John could take the role. It's like, fuck
I
you.
I honestly think that was Bendis trying to play with the Legion fanboying a bit. But that's just my look. That's my charitable interpretation. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, but
But Bendis' Legion has been a dumpster fire.
at least it's
Um,
finally ending. At least it's finally coming to an end with this crossover.
God, I can't wait for the fifth reboot.
Okay, you do know that Williamson has made it clear Dark Crisis is not ending with a reboot.
No, I mean the fifth reboot of the Legion of Superheroes.
All right, now here's something I got to ask you, from one comic fan to another. When it comes to what's going on with, look at how Death Metal ended. They made it clear the Omniverse was a multiverse of multiverses. That was made very clear. But then
Yeah.
it seems like but it seems then once um, Williamson took over, he had to be, oh no, it's just everyone remembers and there's still a wide multiverse, but it's not
I
the multiverse of
I
multiverse.
legit think they just didn't have an editor who set down the rules, and there's a lot of contradictory information, and now they're trying to fix that.
Yeah, but it's like
I
Williamson kind of messed it up when he started in Infinite Frontier.
Let me put it this way: DC has been flip flopping on the idea of having a multiverse for years, and it's just annoying. I frankly, I think they should just bite the bullet and just keep it
Well,
because
well, I still can't. I cannot wait for once we finally get the return of the infinite universes. Which, to be fair, is like about time. Let's keep it that way.
well, it's like this to me. It's like okay, let's just have all these versions of characters again, and blah blah blah. And I'm fine with that because here's the thing: like a lot of people overestimate how confusing Earth One and Earth Two actually was. It was
Back
not.
then, yeah, back then, especially when you had when before they definitively had an aged Superman with the gray hair. Before that point, it was really confusing. You had to have the disclaimer saying, like, "What's this? Is this what?" And Superman and Lois getting married? Oh ho! This is actually on Earth too.
Well, there's other things to that to an extent, but again, they were
The
also
Green
long.
Arrows. The Green Arrows were hard to tell at first.
Well, yes, but again,
That was before the beard.
I'm just saying, they did their best to basically rein it in a bit,
Oh yeah.
and I'm just saying it wasn't as confusing as people made it seem. It's only because Marv Wolfman had to justify it. Anyway, the thing about it is, it boils down to is I'm happy that we're getting multiple Earths again. I'm
Mhm.
happy that it's going to exist again. Um, we shall see how it goes. I'm hoping that, like, look, I don't know what's going to happen at DC Comics at this point. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe it'll grow. Maybe it won't. Maybe something will happen. Who
Well,
knows?
I think so long as Williamson doesn't ditch him after this event, I think we'll be in good hands for the time being, having someone who could shepherd them.
The fact that, like, we'll see. Honestly, I want to see what happens, but you never know. Anyway,
Right.
um, I still think Jay should be thrown off a roof, but that's just me. Um,
Right. Also, I think the fact that Williamson is kind of wrapping up some loose threads like the Great Darkness and the Gentry from Multiversity. He's wrapping all those up. Some of those major plot point
I'm
threads.
back.
Welcome back.
Did
okay.
anybody answer Shelby's question?
Oh,
Which one?
He asked about Superman helping that suicidal girl, and
Yes.
she
I
was about
did
to.
answer. Yes, I
Yeah.
did answer
Okay.
that. But anyway, like I said, I think the fact that Williamson is finally wrapping up some of those lingering, major, devastating threats is his way of trying to close the door on some of those.
so um,
Like the
uh,
Gentry was a big one.
yeah, like look, the whole thing with I don't know why DC overcomplicates its universe as it does, but it is what it is.
Oh
I
yeah,
want
definitely. Like, didn't they just say that Pandora was the reason behind everything? And now it turns out the Great Darkness was behind everything. What?
look, look. We all know that the Great Darkness was actually the deal. I'm
Okay,
joking.
don't. Hey, I'm actually trying to get in the works of getting him on my show.
I
Who?
look. You're a comic book editor. It's your job to take the hits from us critics. I'm
I know,
joking.
and I think that's one of the things he did actually. He actually did start to try to do that at times.
I will never forgive him for Beast Machines, though.
Was it? I know about Beast Machine, but he also gave us season 3 of Reboot.
Yep. Okay. Fair enough. Either way, but besides that, I hope DC and Marvel grow better and they get their lines in order,
I
whatever.
wanted my Batgirl movie, but you can take away the Flash movie. I don't care about that.
Agreed.
Look,
Agreed.
look, I've seen
Okay,
what
okay,
they
quaint,
were.
quaint. Yes, Glitch Bob was a mess, but that's because they couldn't get the actor involved. And not
What's
season
Glitch
4
Bob?
from reboot, from the reboot.
Yeah,
But that's season 4 where the problem
look,
began. Season
look, I
3.
really look. I can probably go on about reboot lore, but I think at this point, let's not distract too much here.
I'm just want to say, season 3 on its own, Glitch Bob is fine. Season 4 is where it becomes a mess. And
Yes,
don't get
okay.
me started on Guardian Code. That atrocity, the only thing good out of that was that they got a very good actor to take over for Tony J as Megabyte. That's
but
it.
but anyway, my whole thing with DC is I hope DC gets better and fuck the Flash movie, but I don't know how they were going to make that movie work at all.
I
Like,
mean, it didn't have good test screenings anyway for the Flash movie. Like all of them was like okay to meh. Well, for the
uh,
Batgirl screenings, you had okay to great.
Now,
yeah,
again, I think I'll just say what I've been saying. Blame Snyder for messing up everything.
I don't know. Look, I don't actually want to blame. Look, I don't blame anyone in particular for messing up shit. Honestly,
I just want no. I blame Snyder because Snyder was trying to be
David.
edgy. He wanted to be edgy, and he basically wanted to make everyone Batman, super bad, wait, Aqua bad, Wonder bad.
I
Wonder
get it.
Bat.
I get it, but
And he never understood the characters. Period. And just look at how his cult acts around it. They don't care about the characters. They just care that Zach's involved, and Zach just cared about making things edgy. The fact that he was going to have conk Superman by having be Lois got knocked, banged bruised and got knocked up by her until DC put their foot down tells you a lot.
Wait,
um,
didn't remember I showed you that comment that was comparing the Batgirl movie to Jon Stewart not being
Oh
in the
yes, you did,
Snyderverse?
and that was beyond stupid.
oh god, look,
You
I
saw that?
They're basically saying, oh, those of you who are complaining about Batgirl, don't but we're all right with Jon Stewart being cut from the Snyder Cut. Don't you bring that up? You have no right to. It's like, shut up.
They're
Jesus
like, it's
Christ.
literally the same, and I'm like, no, it's not.
Not even
It
close to
wasn't
being the
even
same.
made. If it was made, then yeah, I would have a problem with it being scrapped. But it
Yeah,
wasn't. It was just a cameo in end credit scenes.
yeah. What was the other tweet you had showed me?
I think it was just the tax stuff.
Oh yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Oh, Gotham Knights has been canceled. Let's go.
Oh, it has been.
Oh wow, I was talking about that earlier.
Let me check. Let me check.
Wait, it just came out, didn't it? Did all
No,
the
no,
episodes
no,
come
It was
no.
out?
actually going to come out in 2023. I actually looked it up
Oh,
to see if I could watch an episode today.
Hold on. I'm trying to see if that's been officially. Oh, it says it's not coming. I see someone saying it's not coming. No, that's from a few months ago. I am not seeing anything officially stated unless it's on Twitter.
Honestly, they
maybe they use
really fucked up.
Instagram.
Honestly, they really fucked up with the name of that show because anytime I look up Gotham Knights on Google, I find the game first.
Which I'm still more excited for.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
Just the show, Shelby. Just the show.
Whatever it is, we'll see what happens, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it sucks for the Batgirl. Like she was putting in her training montages and Instagram, and I'm like, wow, you're really putting in the work.
Oh, yeah, and they delayed Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2.
Again?
Great.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yep,
really
yep.
feel,
Oh, yeah. People are saying it's canceled. Yeah.
I
Wait,
really
so
feel,
how long? How much longer are they gonna delay it? Like, weren't they coming in like October, November, or something this
Oh,
year?
next year now. They're moved to next year.
Oh my gosh! So
Jesus
Shazam
fuck.
is 2 is this year.
No, next year.
They're all next year? Dang, I lied to my
Except for
dad
Black
then.
Adam.
He's
Except for Black
disappointed.
Adam.
Oh, just for Black Adam is this year.
Yeah.
Okay. They gotta stop delaying. I'm like forgetting.
But yeah, from the looks of it, looks like it's canceled.
They just like maybe I should be hired for DC out of like I don't know anything,
I
but
don't
I'm like
know
we're doing
anything.
this, we're doing
No, I
this.
would say this: Jeff Johns does not deserve. He's not Kevin Feige. He's not a Kevin Feige because he does. I love the man. I love the man's work, but Kevin Feige, he is not. He should be there to help be partnered with a Kevin Feige type, and apparently the two are roommates.
Really?
Yeah, the two were roommates,
That's so
Oh, wow.
weird.
and they both have worked under Richard Donner. Yeah, I'm double checking where I've seen that. Hold on. Yeah, he used to be a roommate with Marvel's Kevin Feige. While the irony is not lost on him, the two are still good friends. Also, both have worked one way or another for and admired Richard Donner.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, that's just so ironic. But like I said, though, Jeff Johns, I don't think he's a great creative force. I will always give him that. But I don't think and he's great with producing some movies, but I don't think he has it in him to be fair and, with everything.
Yeah.
And they were roommates. Did you get it from that Vine?
What? Oh,
Shelby
yeah.
put, and they were roommates, and it reminded me of the Vine of, and they were roommates.
Hmm. Okay, well, we gotta start wrapping up. I'm starting to get exhausted.
That's fair.
Boo.
But thank you both for joining. Thank everyone here for sticking around. And hold on. So far, Zaslav is laying down the axe pretty much. That's the one thing I'm just worried about.
Not the axe I like, though.
I just hope Warner Brothers can make it through all this, all I say. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, I remember when people were saying, "Oh, DC, Warner Brothers, and HBO Max will be able to go beyond, go to the international things to Discovery Plus." I don't think they were big on Discovery Plus absorbing them.
And then feeding off their life force.
Yep. All right, so we'll see you. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you both for joining me, and we'll see you all in the next one. And thanks for making this be your big face reveal, Bianca.
Yay.
Have a good one.
Take care.